Welcome to the Midnight Bible Study. Shells on Everest and shark teeth in the mountains of California. Is science proving the Bible in the narrative of the Great Flood as historical fact? That's the topic of today's report. Now, according to AAP Fact Check, a post by a Facebook user in Australia claims scientists studying Mount Everest have found fossilized fish skeletons, which are proof that the Earth previously experienced the famous Great Flood. I'll read you the post right here. Scientists are studying the peak of Mount Everest, the tallest mountain of the Earth, have found skeletons of fish that have been stuck in the rock. They believe that this is proof that the water has reached this height in the past, which proves that the Earth was once flooded. Now, according to AAP Fact Check, they say it's true that the remnants of the ancient sea life have been found fossilized on Everest. So they verify that. And then they say whale fossils and evidence of other marine animals have been found high in the Andes, for example. Now, it might sound like they're sympathetic to this point of view, but I don't believe they are. And so you'd say, well, why are they giving us even more evidence then? Well, because they feel they can explain this all away very, very quickly, and so they don't mind doing that. Now, some of the fossils found on the world's highest mountain came from George Mallory, okay, and his ill-fated 1924 climbing expedition. So they found some of the first fossils, and geologist Noel Ewart Odell, the last to see them alive, collected numerous fossil samples, including limestone, which typically forms in warm waters from organic debris like shells and coral. Edmund Hillary also collected limestone near Everest summit during his historic 1953 ascent. So there you go. That's just the background for this story. According to Fact Check, however, while the Facebook post, while it claims about fossils of Mount Everest are evidence of global flooding, the Bible story, and then they say scientists say these fossils are actually proof of the Earth's constant, basically plate tectonics and the Earth's change from this moving tectonics. Now, what's interesting here is they say, what's their source for this claim? Scientists. That's their close. This general global statement, like this is established scientific fact, because scientists, they all agree on this. They say, fact check. This is fact check. And they say, scientists say. This is proof of plate tectonics. Wow. Okay. Scientists also told us to take the vaccine, didn't they? That was scientists, right? So now an astronomy professor of mine, one of the scientists, I suppose, once told me when I was by the way, this guy had a wonderful class in astronomy when I was in college. It was my absolute favorite class. I loved astronomy. But this one day, he stood in front of this class and told us that the science that astronomy had proved the Bible wrong and that it was false. I was a college kid. I was pretty much ignorant. I didn't know what else. So I just took him at face value. And I was, for a couple of years, I was probably something like an agnostic after that class. Later on, I found out that was an absolutely absurd statement. That statement is just ridiculous. And the science backing up the Bible is overwhelming. It's absolutely overwhelming. So for him to just say scientists or science has proven the Bible wrong, you're taking advantage of basically ignorant college kids who don't know any better. So they'll just believe anything you tell them. So anyway, just for example, I think what we need to do when we read these opinions is we have to use critical thinking. We have to say things like, okay, well, they're saying scientists tell us that this is just plate tectonics. Okay, well, what was not said in the article? What did we not hear? We never heard anything about any scientists who might see it differently. I mean, we're just told that this is the way it is, and it's a established fact. Well, okay, how about let's take a look at. I don't know why he didn't bring up Nicholas Steno, also known as Nils Stenson. Uh, he was the he. We have noted that the founding fathers of many important branches of science were Christian believers. This is even more true of the branch of science which has been the chief bulwark of evolution, mainly stratigraphy. So, according to Steno, the fossils did not represent figured stones, as many geologists of the time believed, but remains of actual plants and animals living at the times of the flood. So, Nicholas Steno, a famous scientist, was he attributes he's a believer in the flood science. Now what about Thomas Burnett? I don't know why fact check didn't mention Thomas Burnett. I mean, when you make I teach argumentation. When you make an argument, if you ignore the objections, you ignore completely the opposing point of view, it's usually because you're hiding from something. All right. Thomas Burnett was an English clergyman, also known as one of the first geologists, author of Sacred Theory of the Earth. So he's one of the first geologists. He took scriptural account of creation of the flood as providing a basic framework of interpretation for the Earth's history, showing it to be confirmed by facts of physics and geology. So anyway, those are just a couple examples of other views that were not brought up at all. And well, it's true that many scientists probably do agree that it's just platonics. There are others who don't. And science is theory. A lot of times, science is simply theory. Take a look at Darwinism. That turns out to be of a highly flawed theory, and it's taken as gospel even today by by many scientists. So I don't know what the truth is in terms of. I will say though that's pretty dramatic. That it's pretty dramatic. We're saying, okay, plate tectonics, a little shifting here, a little shifting there. I mean, that's pretty. We're just going to take the highest point on Earth is used to be in the ocean. I don't know. It could be, but there's a lot of evidence that that's not the case. In fact, I'll probably cover that in the near future. That would be probably a big jump. All right. So anyway, you've got this. So you've got possibly one theory is it's plate tectonics. Another theory is this is the flood. This is evidence for the flood of Noah. And we talked about whales in the Andes, whale bones in the Andes. Interestingly, something else has come up recently. Now, abundant fossils in the lower shale part of near the abandoned ghost town of Cerro Gordo in California. We're talking 8,000 feet up in the Inyo Mountains near Death Valley. They have found shark teeth in the shale. So that's just another example of evidence of the Great Flood. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, who's credible? Are these scientists credible, or are the Bible credible? So I'll let you decide. But there's the evidence. That's what's been said lately. God bless you, and good night from the Midnight Bible Study.